dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
After a loving Valentine's Day week off, we get set to go back to racing here for the Western States Racing League. We are in the Xfinity cars in the Lone Star State at the Texas Motor Speedway for round number 7 of season 48. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me, my broadcast partner, Mike DeMoney. Mike, a week off, new car, difficult track to get around with this car, and the key to tonight's race is going to be roll, 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 especially in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to just roll through the corners because otherwise you're going to tear up something. We've already seen these guys in practice get loose coming off of 2 there and crash quite frequently headed down that backstretch. So if they get it under control, should be in for a good, clean race. But like you said, they have to adjust back to this Xfinity car after driving the trucks the last couple of weeks, had that week off. And it does not get any easier from here either.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks since this series has run in these Xfinity cars, and the last time they did it was back at Mid-Ohio, so a completely different style racetrack than what these guys have been used to, especially in these Xfinity cars. We'll take a look at the Drivers' Championship coming into tonight's race. Jeff Schmeier with a second-place finish back at Darlington 2 weeks ago currently holds a pretty nice lead over Jeff Hollingsworth, Wayne Hutchinson there as well, Brian Barnes, Ryan Steele, your current top 5, the winner at Darlington. One of the biggest movers going up was Steele. So still plenty of positions to play for here, as we're still really kind of in the early days of this championship.
Yeah, there's plenty of time left. I mean, they also have a few drop weeks as well, so a lot is going to change by the time we get to that championship race at the end of the season. One name that you'll notice that I don't know if he just is going to take this season off and just kind of run part-time is your defending champ there, Bentley Glazer. But got some new drivers showing up tonight, so should be interesting race anyway.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer right now 24th in points. Haven't seen him for the better part of the last month. Was the last time we saw Bentley on track here as we get set for this new Xfinity block, or this next Xfinity block, I should say, as we have about a minute before we get into qualifying. This next Xfinity block of races will be here at Texas and then next week at Iowa before going back to the trucks. Staying on the short track, we go to Hickory when we go back into the trucks, and then we end the first half of the season at Daytona. So it's a very difficult schedule, once again, testing all disciplines over the course of these next 2 races.
Yeah, you're not going to have somebody come in and dominate a lot of these races. Through this first 6 weeks, we've had, I believe, 6 different winners so far. So I look for that to probably continue as we're jumping to several different types of tracks as we move through the schedule this early part anyway.
Yep, we have had 6 different winners over the course of the 6 races thus far this season. Mike Fisher, currently the fastest driver on track right now. Fastest lap for the moment is a 30.28. It's going to be a first, possibly a second lap. That's what's really going to get you in a good position here for tonight's race, because these tires, especially in these Xfinity cars and at this racetrack, especially down in turns 1 and 2, tend to wear off quite quickly if you're really pushing them.
Yeah, and you just saw Wayne Hutchinson make his way down pit lane there. That is also going to be a little bit of a tricky way to get down in these Xfinity cars. We're set for 107 laps and only 4 sets of tires, so tires are going to be at a premium once we get going here.
Absolutely. Earl Weaver and Christian Bishop are pretty much at the same part of the racetrack here at the same time. These two will be the first two to take off here on their qualifying runs. David Weaver, Mike Fisher on track as well. Stephen Banting, series debutant here, at least for this season, on track. Brian Barnes, Josh Weaver, Wayne Hutchinson on track as well, as Bishop getting set to lay down his first lap here in qualifying.
Yeah, Christian Bishop ran a pretty decent race a couple weeks ago and looks to continue improving on that here tonight.
Big wiggle on there. You saw it coming out of turn 2 on that first lap. 10-minute individual qualifying effort this week after the mistake of Darlington last week, where it was an open 10-minute qualifying session. And Christian Bishop lays down the gauntlet at a 30.71 for the opening lap.
Mike Fisher came back with a 30.42 on his first lap. Fisher's been one of the fastest cars we've seen throughout the season when it comes to this qualifying effort.
Absolutely. 2 names that you will recognize from another series. There is the 68 of Lyle Swearingen. Completing his first lap, Swearingen will go P2, 30.47. Also, Butch Davis is here tonight. Both of these guys from the Sim Racers Edge, Dallara IR18 series. Which, because we are calling it the Dallara IR18 series, that means we will not be broadcasting the league this year, unfortunately. A big wiggle there for
scraped that wall.
Swearingen. So it'll be nice to see Lyle and Butch here tonight, and Swearingen will go to the point at a 30.38. Butch Davis coming across the line. He will go P3 for the moment.
Yeah, like you said, the first or second lap are probably going to be his fastest runs here. Looks like second lap seems to be the majority of when these cars get their speed built up.
James Campbell on track right now. He's sounding a little robotic there, Mike. Let's see if your reconnection of the old plug might help you out as we watch Campbell on his second lap. A 30.74 was the 13's first effort. Jeff Hollingsworth up to P8 on his first lap at a 30.60. About halfway through this qualifying session. And James Campbell slower on his second lap, so that 30.74 is going to have to hold up. As here comes Hollingsworth coming out of 3 and 4, fastest of all down in turns 1 and 2, down in 3 and 4, fastest of all is Jeff Hollingsworth, a 30.30, a full 10th quicker than what he managed on his first lap. Paul Crumry goes from P15 to P12, a 30.81 for Crumry.
Hollingsworth jumps up with a 30.30 there.
Yep. Got that. Javier Torres and Julian Ricci will cross the line. Torres negating his lap, collecting the wall coming out of turn 4. Here's Julian Ricci now. And Ricci will go from 16th to 12th at a 30.78. As next group of guys about to begin their runs. Dustin Burns, the first of those drivers to cross the line. Eric Woods and Dennis Fuson out on track right now. Ryan Steele making his way out as well. Couple of numbers getting jumbled up here tonight. As Ryan Steele will be in the 27. Dennis Fuson will be in the 12. Dustin Burns crossing the line on his first lap. 31.13 for Dustin Burns. Eric Woods crossing the line as well. Dennis Fuson, here he is. 12th quickest for the number 12 at a 30.75. Fuson through turn 3 and 4 now. Ryan Steele 10th quickest on his first lap at a 30.61. Fuson a little bit quicker here on lap number 2. Jump him up to P11 at a 30.63. Most drivers gaining about a 10th from that second lap. Steele heading, go ahead.
As long as they keep rolling through the corners, they seem to be gaining just a little bit there, as we saw. It's like Ryan Steele got a 30.41, good enough for third place on the board right now.
Fastest of all through the second half of the lap. The only driver to do from the middle of the backstretch to the start-finish line in under 15 seconds. At a 14.99 as Barry Phil is the only car out on track right now with about 3.5 minutes to go here in the qualifying session. Jeff Schmeier, Fred Williams, Bentley Glazer is here. Will Fletcher, Keith Kelman, Bob Beltrami, Darrell Scott, and Chris Walker all left to qualify. Barry Phil, Kyle McCartney, and Wayne Fleet on track right now. On their attempts, Barry Phil on the first flyer, furthest one along.
Coming to the start-finish line here. 30.90. See if he can gain a little bit more time on this second lap.
Current pole sitter right now, Jeff Hollingsworth with a 30.30, about 0.08 of a second faster than anybody else. Barry Phil, it's slower on the front end of the racetrack. Kyle McCartney, 9th quickest on his first lap, as we'll jump on and see what that 18 is doing. McCartney personal best first half of the lap. Coming across the line right now, and McCartney will better his time, but only by 100th of a second, a 30.56. Jeff Schmeier at a 30.55 on his first lap, working his second now. Good enough for 8th on that opening lap. Big wiggle.
Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of a key, is who can keep that under control.
30.26 for the number 30. Jeff Schmeier, fastest of all here in qualifying, as Bentley Glazer completing his first lap. '18th quickest on the opening salvo. Pushing up off of that white line. Another big wiggle out of turn 4, and Glazer P3, a 30.33 for number 32, inside row number 2 for Bentley Glazer right now, as we are entering the final 20 seconds. No one else has a chance to qualify. 27 qualifiers, 32 cars here at the Texas Motor Speedway tonight. It's the session about ready to flip on over here. We will take a look now at the starting grid here for tonight's race with a time of 30.256. Jeff Schmeier collects yet another pole, back-to-back poles for that number 30 machine. Jeff Hollingsworth lining up on the outside of row number 1. Bentley Glazer and Lyle Swearingen will make up row number 2, with Ryan Steele and Mike Fisher in row 3. Row 4 will go to Butch Davis and Brian Barnes. Wayne Hutchinson and Kyle McCartney will make up row number 5. Row 6 will see Charles Woods and Wayne Fleet, with row 7 going to Ross Rawlings and Christian Bishop. Dennis Fuson and Josh Weaver making up row 8. Row 9 sees James Campbell and Julian Ricci. Eric Woods and Paul Crumry make up the top 20 in row number 10.
Row 11, Dustin Burns and Earl Weaver. Row 12, Steve Banting and Barry Phil. Then you go back to 25th and 26th of David Weaver and Chris Walker. Javier Perez Torres looks like he'll have a couple others who didn't qualify still run. Bob Beltrami is sitting 28th, but doesn't look like he's getting in his car at the moment. Then you have Daryl Scott and Keith Kellman in 29th and 30th. And William Fletcher and Fred Williams did not take a qualifying lap there either.
But those last 5 starting via their iRating, as you would do. Taking a look at the weather conditions here for tonight's race, just beyond 8 o'clock p.m. in sim time. 77 degree ambient temperature, 79 degree track temperature. So cool night here tonight at Texas. It's only going to get cooler, which means more power and more grip.
Yep, hopefully they can maintain their tires and put on a pretty good show here at Texas with these drivers that they do have.
Lyle Swearingen a little slow off the jump there in that Xfinity car, getting it off of pit road as we get set to go here tonight. 107 laps from the Texas Motor Speedway, and these guys certainly put down quite the gambit after Darlington. It's not that often that we go 107 laps at Darlington without a caution, including multiple pit cycles. But these guys were able to do it last time out 2 weeks ago, and we will attempt to try to get it done again here tonight at Texas.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago it was a fuel strategy race that Ryan Steele was able to get to the winner's circle on. Tonight, we will see how this shakes out. If somebody's going to be able to get that right pit strategy to find themselves in victory lane.
Well, we will find out at the end of 107 laps here from the Texas Motor Speedway. Just coming through turns 3 and 4 right now. Jeff Schmeier, Jeff Hollingsworth out in front. 107 laps from the Texas Motor Speedway. We are green.
Jeff Schmeier gets that good jump there. Hollingsworth's going to slide down behind him, right in front of Bentley Glazer. Swearinger out into the outside wall there. Goes from the outside. Sends Ryan Steele. Looks like he tried to get down below him in case anything was going to happen there.
Swearingen caught that outside wall in turn 2. Mike Fisher catching it right off the jump as the caution comes out here early. As it appears as though Wayne Fleet is the one furthest back in that Folgers number 6. So at the end of lap 1, thus dashes the continuation of the caution-free streak.
Yeah, they'll get settled back in, and we'll see what happens the rest of the race. But
that's Wayne Fleet got
he was
really
already
loose.
He was already sideways in front of him.
Coming off of 4, Julian Ricci caught a big piece of that. See here, watch that 6 just snap there. Ricci with nowhere to go. Paul Crumrye going through the grass. Earl Weaver catching the fence as well. We'll see it again here. This is 85 of Eric Woods. There's Earl Weaver, and then the big punt from Dustin Burns in the 04. And thus will be caution number 1. 29 drivers starting the race. Will Fletcher, Bob Beltrami, and Fred Williams did not take part in the start of this race. Doesn't mean they can't join in later, but as of right now, they are running as a did not start.
So if that was lap 1, what's the rest of this race going to hold for us here?
I can only wonder. So we have a lot of time to sit here and think that over, I would say.
I'm thinking they go single file restart, if I'm not mistaken, since we didn't make more than a lap.
See, now that's been an interesting point, because it's been, again, I always thought the rule was it's back-to-back restarts if they don't work, but we've seen it happen in both instances, where it be multiple or whether it just be one.
Yeah.
sure we'll get our answer here in just a moment, as we should be going 1 to green here this time. Nothing much changing. Butch Davis and Mike Fisher swapping positions. Charles Woods going up a couple of spots, as does Ross Rawlings and Dennis Fuson here at the start of this race. But other than that, Brian Barnes moving down 4 spots from 8th all the way down to 12th in just that opening lap. Looks like we're going to go around again.
Yeah, it looks like Dustin Burns is in the pits. It's like we have more guys dropping a ton more positions than moving up. Wayne Fleet, Dustin Burns, Eric Woods, Julian Ricci, all involved in that lap 1 accident there.
Look at some of those guys in the back. There is Eric Woods. Fast repair taken on that Cheetos number 85 Ford Mustang. Same could be said for Wayne Fleet as well. As we thank you for those of you who are switching over from the plethora of races that we had on offer here tonight, whether it be the SCL Weekly Street Stock Series, whether it be the All-American Racing League Cup Series, or even the debut of the Sunday Night NASCAR's Jack Dowell Esports Truck Series. Thank you all for finding your way here, as Western States has made it quite a habit over the last 3 years of closing out your Tuesday nights here, whether it be the Esports Broadcasting Network or Sim Racing Media, as we get set to go back to Green Flag Racing. And Mike, wouldn't you know it, single file restart.
Yep, single file. I think it's because they didn't actually complete that lap before the caution came out, but either way, these guys get lined up single file and we'll be back to racing shortly. Does change a little bit of the strategy if you have a little bit more speed than the guys in front of you, but we'll see what happens once we get this green flag again.
And also sitting up in the dirty line as well. You can only pass to the right prior to the start, prior to crossing the start-finish line. So being up in the dirty line with all the marbles, trying to defend from a guy who may have gotten a better restart from behind, that'll also certainly play a factor in this restart as well.
Definitely will. Pace car is making that hard left-hand turn. Schmeier is going to bring him down here. Green flag is out, and we are underway. Everybody kind of got a little bit spread out, which tends to happen on these single file restarts. Step towards the back there.
Ross Rawlings immediately looking right to the outside of Kyle McCartney for that 10th position, as Dennis Fuson trying to keep Christian Bishop behind. Kyle McCartney now looking to the inside of Charles Woods. That is for the 9th position, and McCartney will get that spot. The outside line, especially in 3 and 4, not where you want to be around here.
No, Kyle McCartney just got his nose under him and just kind of forced him up the track. As you see, the 91 of Ross Rollins and the 4 of Brian Barnes do this, basically the same thing, just kind of get him out of that line going in the corners, and you go backwards pretty quick there.
Riding on board with Brian Barnes right now. Top of that Popsicle Chevrolet Camaro. Big wiggle there out of Kyle McCartney. Somehow still trying to catch that car. Keeps it straight. And again, you can see just how flat turns 1 and 2 are compared to turns 3 and 4.
Yeah. When you're when you're looking at the track, I mean, it's not that much different in banking, but it's like 6 degrees different. So coming off of there, and then you go basically to 5 degrees in the straightaway. So come down that hill pretty quick.
There is progressive banking through turns 1 and 2 as well. This is one of the things that was added in about the 6 different remodels that this track has had since 1997. Side by side, Christian Bishop getting around Dennis Fuson for that 12th position. Up front, not missing anything. Jeff Schmeier holding a 0.4 of a second lead over Jeff Hollingsworth, who holds a second over Bentley Glazer, Lyle Swearingen, Ryan Steele, and Butch Davis for the 3rd spot. See
these guys all got a little bit spread out, and you get that battle back there for 4th and 5th.
Two Andretti cars on track here tonight. Butch Davis is in the very familiar STP colors, and Mike Fisher in the Cheerios car, the last one that John Andretti would drive, the one that Christian Fittipaldi would drive. So Butch Davis, STP, Mike Fisher, Cheerios. Or to make it easier, one that you can eat and the other one questionable.
Yeah, probably shouldn't do that one, but
those Cheerios really tear you up. Oh, sorry, never mind, wrong one. It's Christian Bishop to the outside of Charles Woods as Woods continues to slide backwards.
Woods got a little loose there, had that little wiggle. Christian Bishop checked up just a little bit to let him in line. Christian Bishop did win the last race here in these Xfinity cars, but that was at a road course. Christian Bishop also won basically every road course we went to last season as well.
Everyone running pretty much single file right now, as this is the part of the run where you're really trying to suss out whether or not your tires are where you need them to be for the long haul here in this race. As everyone not really battling, trying to save up what they have, again, because these cars, these Xfinity cars, run through tires quite quickly. However, this track and this track certainly does not help with that.
No, the track definitely does not. And with there only being 4 sets, you want to kind of maybe take it a little easier this first run to see what your tires are going to look like once we do get to that first pit stop, and then adjust your race accordingly.
This is the one advantage that we've seen from stage racing that we talked about with a lot of drivers here in the leagues that we cover, is that you can kind of use that first pit stop, that first stage, to gauge where your tire wear is so you can adjust. Here, especially with Western States, with how many green flag runs that this series usually puts on, you have to go through an entire fuel and tire run before you can get a gauge on what you're doing to your car as Glazer catches the wall coming out of turn 2.
I think that's going to be a statement we repeat a lot, is people catching that wall coming out of 2. Because we saw it all day in practice and then here at the start of the race as well.
Battle for third as Butch Davis has dispatched of Ryan Steele. Davis taking a little bit higher of a line coming out of turn 2. It worked for him there, gained about a 0.5 tenth on Lyle Swearingen. Again, these two know each other very well, racing in Sim Racer's Edge.
Yeah, that definitely, I would say that definitely has to help once you kind of know a couple guys that are racing in here when you do come and run the league you haven't ran for quite a while.
First race, I believe, for Butch Davis in the Tuesday night Western States Racing League. He had run quite a bit on Friday night in the Cup Series, but Tuesday night he'd been away for a little while. I believe this is the first race for him in this series since season 45. As another one of the Sim Racers Edge drivers that's in here, Chris Walker in that silver and black number 33 has his hands full right now. Keith Kelman just got around him for 25th. Dustin Burns and Eric Woods fighting him as well.
It looks like he's going to try and stay high as they look down to the inside. Eric Woods gets pushed down into that inside wall, comes back across the track, hits that outside wall as well, and see if we can keep him rolling or if he'll. Yeah, it looks like he made it to the garage pretty quick, so we'll stay green.
He bails out of that car. Once again, we'll see what happened here as we picked it up live. So Eric Woods coming out of turn 2. Dustin Burns just, I'm not sure from that camera angle at least whether or not he got loose or not. For the camera angle we just showed, just came right down into him, as we'll see probably a better view here. I think Burns was, that was Burns fully in control of that car from what it looks like.
Yeah, I think Burns just turned down to kind of avoid Walker there and didn't see Eric Woods down on his inside.
Kyle McCartney battling with Ross Rawlings still. As further back, another battle that is still going on is Christian Bishop versus Brian Barnes versus Dennis Fuson.
Good battle mid-pack here.
Just outside the top 10. Barnes, Bishop, and Fuson battling for the 13th position between these three. Fuson getting really out of shape there. And again, it's so easy to fade up too high in those little dog legs there. Catch the wall, really upset the balance of this car as Fuson finally completes the pass.
Yeah, you can see them basically, I'll call that sliding in control is basically what it is, because you can slide up that track pretty quick and not even realize you're going up the hill. So you just got to keep it in control and try and avoid some of the guys around you, as it looks like Steve Banting might have went off track there.
Boy, oh boy, yeah, he certainly did. Jumping through the infield goes the 31 of Stephen Banting on his debut. See what happened with that number 31. This is coming off of turn 4. Catches that wall. And just like Charlotte, this turn 4 wall, especially on corner exit, really comes out at you quick.
Yeah, the out of 2 and 4 there, it just like wants to like pull you in if you're even within, a couple feet. It's on you pretty quick before you even know it's there.
Wayne Hutchinson and Charles Woods getting close to each other now. This is a battle for 10th. Hutchinson has it. Woods wants it. As Hutchinson holding Charles Woods at bay. Lyle Swearingen starting to fall back a little bit. Now losing a position to Kyle McCartney. Swearingen had been up in the top 3, or the top 4, I should say, for most of this run. Maybe just took a little bit too much off the tires, as Bentley Glazer's just gotten around Jeff Hollingsworth as well. Only a half a second now behind Jeff Schmeier in the 30.
Yeah, Glazer just looks like he's rolling those corners pretty well, maintaining basically the same pace that he's on. As long as he doesn't overdrive the car there, He's closing in a little bit with every lap.
Jump on board here with Bentley and just listen how long he's having to roll this car through this turn one here. Almost all the way through. And that's tire saving and being fast around here. So pretty much from the cut of the grass on pit exit all the way around to the backstretch, he is off throttle as Butch Davis has all he can handle right now with Kyle McCartney in the 18.
Yeah, Kyle McCartney just got right to his back bumper and was just looking for a place to go, and he goes down to the inside. Let's see if he can still roll that corner and make this pass here on Butch Davis.
The battle of petty 43 supremacy. Mike Fisher now currently has the upper hand. Davis has had it for the majority of this race. As McCartney now completes this pass for 6th. Ross Rawlings now the next one up behind Butch Davis. He has gotten past Lyle Swearingen as well in the 68. Right now working lap number 31 here of the Western States Racing League. Round number 7 from the Texas Motor Speedway. Jeff Schmeier, Bentley Glazer, Jeff Hollingsworth all on your screen. Running 1, 2, and 3. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back right here on Sim Racing Media. Battle for the race lead has come and gone. Bentley Glazer back out in front as Jeff Schmeier now starts to fall back through the field after leading the first 35 laps here of this race. Frank Marchese, Mike DeMoney with you here for round number 7 of the Western States Racing League. And one man used to do this series with me, Ben Bruno, if you guys remember, back from a couple of seasons ago. Got a text from Ben Bruno this morning saying that thanks to the work that he put in here on ESPN and SRM, he scored a spot in the booth for a Pro-Am Drift series that is backed by Formula Drift in his hometown earlier today. So congratulations to Ben Bruno for landing that gig, and hope everything works out very, very well for you, sir.
Yeah, it's definitely good news when you can take basically what we do is, I'll call it a hobby, even though we take it a little more serious than just a hobby, and translate that into a full-time gig. It's something you love. I mean, congrats to him for that.
Bentley Glazer, since taking the race lead, has opened up a 1.7 second lead over Jeff Hollingsworth. And as we said, as he took over that race lead, now all is right with the world again. Bentley Glazer out in front of a Western States Racing League race, as Ryan Steele really chasing down Jeff Hollingsworth, as is Mike Fisher in that number 43 Cheerios car. Jeff Schmeier now really having to fend off Kyle McCartney here. McCartney up 5 spots from where he started now with the pass on Schmeier.
Yeah, just like when we were at break there talking about the tire wear and stuff, it looks like Schmeier might have burned up his stuff a little bit from leading this race. Either that or he's electing to nurse it a little bit more and see how far he can take this run before he has to hit pit lane too.
We've been invaded by Sim Racer's Edge here all night tonight. We've got Butch Davis in here. We got Lyle Swearingen in here. Chris Walker running as well. And now we've got Chris Samard invading the chat. Thank you very much for the support, guys. As, boy, side by side, wiggling and wobbling there. Wayne Fleet and Keith Kellman. Wayne Fleet in the 6th, the cause of the one and only caution here tonight on lap 1. Keith Kellman just behind him.
Yeah, just kind of got that little wiggle and got shot into that outside wall. But battling back a little bit, so still going to have at least get some points here tonight.
Julian Ricci and Javier Torres, these two battling 17th and 18th for the number 1 and the number 20. A little bit further ahead, these two have not gotten away from each other at all. Wayne Hutchinson and Charles Woods, these two are still running line astern with each other, as Butch Davis and Lyle Swearingen swap 8th and 9th between these two in front of them.
Yeah, seem to get away from each other. We've seen Hutchinson pass Woods, and Woods kind of battle back a little bit and pass Hutchinson, and round and round they go.
Big wiggle there from Butch Davis coming out of turn 4 as the caution comes out with the 13 of James Campbell stuck in the inside wall.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he got loose off a 2 and hit that outside wall.
Well, I'm no fortune teller, but that's one heck of a limb you just went out on, and he pushed into the wall and then got sucked into the other one. That will be enough to call the caution for the second time here tonight. As now everybody will come down pit road, and Bentley Glazer's near 3-second lead has evaporated just like that.
Yeah, that's something he's kind of used to at some of these racetracks. I mean, he builds up that huge lead and then gets that caution almost every time. But usually the way he drives those trucks, he gets it built back pretty quick. I'm going to say now that he's out front and everything's right with Western States World here, he might be able to do that again, but Hollingsworth is some stiff competition since this league started this season. So
see Bentley Glazer on pit road as we'll take a look down pit lane. Cars going up and down on the left and right. There goes Glazer, off and away. Hollingsworth second, Steele third, Fisher fourth, and it looks like McCartney just beat out Jeff Schmeier for the top 5 positions. Now this is caution number 2 here on the night. Season high, single season race. Start this whole transfaction over again. Single race season high cautions for this series thus far this season, 11. That was at Bristol, a track that you would expect it to be. We have run at Dover, Kansas, Talladega, take Mid-Ohio out, but no cautions on the road course, and Darlington. We have had a combined, including tonight, 10 cautions in those races.
that is incredible and says a lot about the drivers of this league. I mean, you go from different tracks, different cars. You know, the Xfinity car drives way different than the truck does. So, congrats to all the drivers in this league for that.
It's 2 cautions at Dover, 4 at Kansas, 2 at Talladega. Of course, the no cautions at Mid-Ohio. The 11 at Bristol, the no cautions at Darlington, and now the 2 here tonight. Just incredible, and that's why we always say with this series, and we've said it really since day one when we started with this series, that you have to be good at conserving your equipment because long runs are an inevitability in this series. They are. It's not a matter of how long is the run going to be. It's, is there going to be a stop to the run?
Yeah. I mean, when, like last week, Ryan Steele went out on a limb, did a one-stop race, and basically was playing it as there wasn't going to be another caution. And luckily he was right. He had just enough fuel to finish that run off.
About to go green here this time by Steve Banting getting a wave around. Darrell Scott in the 23 getting a wave around, as well as Brian Barnes. That will put Barnes and Banting both back on the lead lap. Scott now 1 lap down. Campbell 1 lap down, as is Burns, Scott. Chris Walker about 5 laps down at this point. I don't believe participating in the race anymore. Eric
No, it
Woods
looks like
done.
Yep. So it looks like he put it on the hauler. Woods done.
Beltrami, Fletcher, and Williams did not start here tonight. Seeing more Sim Racers Edge guys in the chat as well. Dan Brazington has entered the chat. Goes without saying, we're all going to miss you guys this season. Congratulations and good luck on season 6, which I know is starting up soon. Wish we could be there. As Bentley Glazer leads the field down, green flag back out. Here at the Texas Motor Speedway, Jeff Hollingsworth to the outside. No chance at catching that 32 on the restart.
Nope, Bentley Glazer just jumped out to the lead that he usually does when he does control these restarts. And everybody is going to be trying to fight him as they go through the rest of this race here.
Ryan Steele on the outside, that 43 of Mike Fisher now collecting that 3rd position. And you really do not want to be on the outside in turns 3 and 4 as Kyle McCartney trying to stick his nose in there, add a little bit more woe to Ryan Steele's evening. Unfortunately for him, couldn't get the nose in far enough.
Ryan was able to hold him off there as Ryan Steele's looking to the inside of Mike Fisher and trying to basically do the same thing, get his nose down there close enough to just throw up that airflow on that 43 machine.
Dustin Burns, I believe, has had a moment. A lot of damage on the nose of that number 4, the 04 machine. Barry Phil down pit road in the 42. As Hollingsworth starting to reel Glazer back in. It's a little bit beyond halfway here in tonight's race. As a matter of fact, exactly halfway.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who burns up their tires that first run and what they learned from it.
Some guys starting to move their way back up through the pack. You see Butch Davis there getting around Dennis Fuson in the number 12. Brings Butch Davis up to 14th.
I'll say Ricci's the next one in line there. Paul Krumrei in front of that.
Krumrei was just battling with Lyle Swearingen and Christian Bishop not that long ago as we ride on board with PK. You can really push this car in 3 and 4 a lot harder and for a lot longer than you think you can. It's turns 1 and 2 that's the technical part of this racetrack, and if you don't get turns 1 and 2 right, you're going to be done early as far as the run goes.
Yeah, you can kind of see how when they come off of 2 here, how it straightens up a lot quicker than it does when they come off of 4 there. Because 4 you head into that tri-oval, so that kind of helps a little bit with the handling there.
So that nice smooth arc coming out of turn 2 as compared to the abrupt wall coming out of turn 4.
Yeah.
Krumrei completing the pass on Lyle Swearingen, now trying to clear Christian Bishop, can't quite do it. Charles Woods now trying to get under Wayne Hutchinson. These two have been battling for the better part of 50 laps.
They just can't seem to get away from each other. As Krumrei goes down to the inside, is going to try and make that pass on Bishop. It looks like Woods might be next in line there.
Woods had been battling with Wayne Hutchinson, ended up catching the apron through 3 and 4, which pushed him back to the group behind him. Julian Ricci's gotten passed by Butch Davis. That moves him down to 14th, that black car at the back of the screen. As Christian Bishop not letting Paul Krumrei get away on that inside line.
No, he was not
going to. Finally does.
I'll say he was just not going to give it to him, but PK made that corner a little bit better than Bishop did and was able to take that spot. We're under caution again. Looks like.
Quite see who.
Earl Weaver, maybe?
Defending party there. There's Earl Weaver. That's a good guess. No front end on that 46. 76-year-old out of Tempe, Arizona. Tempe, Arizona getting quite busy with spring training kicking off here at the end of the week. Friday for most teams. Be
Yeah,
the
just
first
don't
spring training games.
I don't say just don't tell Dave. He might try and go down there.
Oh, I'm sure he knows already.
I seen his countdown coming, so
His well, that's with Bunt. Oh, he's with the 31. Banting has been in quite a number of incidents. We saw the one when we were live. We saw the second one during break. Now this one. See the damage on the 31 and the 46. Rather identical between the two.
everybody heading down pit lane. Well, not everybody. Looks like Fisher, Steele, McCartney, Hutchinson, Ricci, and Torres all stay out.
Surprised we're taking tires here since we just took them not that long ago. Tires abound for these drivers.
I mean, they do have 4 sets, so even if you took them at both of these cautions, you still have one more set sitting there, so.
We'll throw it out to the chat here to really test your baseball knowledge in the chat. Which Major League Baseball team calls Tempe, Arizona their home for spring training? And Mike, something tells me I'm not going to have to worry about you giving away the answer.
Probably not.
I should send Dave Regal a message in their chat just to see if he knows. I'm not sure if he might not be available at the moment. You people on the East Coast needing to sleep at what, 11:15 p.m. Honestly, I should probably be getting to bed right around now too.
It's getting close here.
It's only 8:15, but when you have to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning, that's not necessarily the normal bedtime of the normal bedtime of midnight/1 in the morning doesn't necessarily cut it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up to minus 38 degrees, so it'll be all right.
Lucky you.
Yeah. I thought this cold stuff was over, but
no,
anyway.
We're getting it too. I'm going to make you mad by saying we're going to be. It's going to be a little bit of a cold front coming through this weekend at about 53 degrees. Is going to be a high for this week with rain the whole way through.
Yeah, we're getting snow right now, so.
Yeah, we get rain from pretty much now all the way through until Saturday. We get a reprieve on Sunday and Monday, and then back at it on Tuesday and Wednesday with rain. All in the mid to low 50s.
Yeah.
A little bit warmer than you, but, hey.
Yeah. So it looks like they extended that caution one lap after they doubled up there for a little bit, but I don't know that we're going to see anybody in the chat guess who calls Tempe home, but we'll see.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I can give away the answer right now. That would be the Los Angeles Angels.
Angels? Yeah.
Call Tempe, Arizona home. When it comes to spring training. team that I work with, the San Diego Padres, calling Peoria, Arizona home. Same with the Seattle Mariners. Or at least they used to share a facility with the Mariners. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore.
I'm not sure.
Done a lot of work with the Padres over the course of this last week, especially producing the morning show, which is in Peoria right now. Didn't see too many Mariner logos around, I will say. And anyway, coming back to green here, lap 64 of 107. Mike Fisher on older tires out in front. Green flag in the air. Fisher and Steele leading the way.
Yeah, the first 3 rows stayed out and didn't elect to come down and get fuel or tires. So Fisher and Steele. Steele gets that huge run on that outside lane. Looks like McCartney's going to try and follow him up high. Fisher's going to stay low and see if he can hold that line. Oh, McCartney slides his nose right along that rear bumper down to the inside line.
13 laps may not seem like a lot, but around a high tire deg track like Texas, it can seem like an eternity, especially on the lap counter. As Bentley Glazer through into 5th, they have put Wayne Hutchinson and Javier Torres in the middle of that battle, and in that jumbled up mess there, Jeff Hollingsworth in the middle of 3 wide, Butch Davis to the outside, Schmeier to the inside. Now Paul Crumry about to fall into the middle.
Yeah, looking back there, you saw Schmeier 3 wide clear down almost in that grass trying to make that pass. As it looks like McCartney is next in line for Glazer here as Glazer starts to close in on this front group.
McCartney appearing to be a little bit more concerned with trying to chase down Mike Fisher as here comes Bentley Glazer around the outside. Glazer, not quite yet, but the outside line should prevail. Here in this case, Ross Rawlings, also the beneficiary of a pit stop under that last caution. Managing to jump a few guys, getting through the traffic a little bit easier. Ross Rawlings up into 4th place. Effective P2 as far as drivers that came down to pit that last caution.
And Glazer's all over the back bumper now of Fisher. Trying to make that pass so he can get down to business and catch Ryan Steele. Ryan Steele is out to over a 2nd lead right now over this battle. Here's that.
On board with Mike Fisher. Out the back and then out the front. I don't know about you, but I switched to this camera view here that we're on right now, the one on top of the car, and I got some serious NASCAR Thunder 2004 vibes. Like I had a flashback just hit me. Seeing this car from this camera view.
Yeah.
This Ross Rawlings. Ooh, I think somebody just went down to the inside. Caution is out. Is that Christian Bishop? Oh no, it's Paul Crumry upside down, and a big hit from Dustin Burns as well. Crumry ends up back on his wheels.
Drive that thing down to pit lane.
Fortunately for him, he took a big hit from Dustin Burns. So we'll jump on and see what happened here. 3 wide, Julian Ricci, made contact with the 26, and down they both went. Ooh, that's a hard hit and flip from Crumry, and then here comes Burns. Pow.
Yeah, that's definitely looks like Ricci kind of got squeezed into that outside wall.
So on board with Paul Crumry. Wait, that's a...
Hopefully he's not driving with VR.
Yeah. So we're on board there. That's a hard hit when you just go from driving the car and it's not even a full stop. It's just, it goes straight to flip over. So we're on board with Dustin Burns now, working his way into this incident. So off gas here. And just wasn't on the gas, but it didn't appear as though he was necessarily on the brake either. And with that, working lap 71 of 107. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You are watching round number 7 action here from the Texas Motor Speedway, the Western States Racing League. About to go back to green flag racing here at the Texas Motor Speedway, lap 74 of 107. Bentley Glazer back out in front. Green flag in the air.
Glazer didn't take too long to get back up where he wanted to be. Mike Fisher still did not hit pit lane. It looks like he's back and forth there.
Mike Fisher, the only one of the drivers that did not hit on that pit cycle on lap 60 that did not come into pit this time either. So Fisher really trying to save those extra sets if a caution were to come out later in this race. Ryan Barnes getting very, very close to that grass on the inside line. Kyle McCartney trying to push him forward as well, as McCartney came into pit from a mid-top 10 spot.
Yeah, a lot of the guys that didn't pit that first time elected to come down and get tires this time. So they find themselves back in the field. They were leaning towards hoping it would go green the rest of the way.
Lyle Swearingen and Charles Woods. Swearingen in the 68. Charles Woods in the 40. And good news for Charles Woods. He has finally gotten away from Wayne Hutchinson.
Yes, he has, as it looks like there was a couple guys getting pushed 3 wide towards the back there.
So this big group here. This is Wayne Fleet in 16th position, all the way back to Keith Kellman in 21st. There's just as we watch them, they going crazy when they're not watching them. Throw the camera on, everyone act natural. So there goes Wayne Hutchinson.
You know, say the car that wants the cautions, that 88 there of Paul Krumrei, after that incident, came down pit road, got his faster pair, and is now only 1 lap down.
Battling that 13 for the Lucky Dog spot. There you just saw that highlighter green Monster Energy number 13. There's James Campbell, about a second behind Paul Krumrei. Krumrei has been a top 15 car all night here tonight. And again, after that incident, finding himself a lap down. David Weaver in the 16, battling side by side with Josh Weaver in the 39. Battle for 11th position that Josh Weaver now has the upper hand in.
Yeah, Josh has come down pit road a couple times. Kyle McCartney down to his inside now, going to try and close that gap on him.
Ryan Barnes moving through the field as well. This is the highest we've seen that number 4 of Brian Barnes in quite some time. Charles Woods battling now with Ryan Steele after losing out to Lyle Swearingen earlier on.
Yep, Ryan Steele, another one of those cars that didn't pit on lap 60 but came down on lap 70. So he's back in the field trying to battle his way back up towards the front as he is closing in on Mike Fisher and Swearingen there.
Mike Fisher, and the only driver that came down pit road on lap 47. Really starting to feel the pain in those tires, and in the battle for Petty number 43 supremacy, it has swung back in the fortune of Butch Davis. As there goes Ryan Steele for 6th on Lyle Swearingen.
Ryan Steele trying to find his way back towards the front. Swearingen also trying to do the same. Swearingen is down 3 positions from where he started, but he's maintained a clean race car and is looking to move back up towards the front again.
On board with Lyle Swearingen. Native of Fontana, California, where the NASCAR Cup Series will be going for what everyone's anticipating being their final time, at least in the current format. Lyle Swearingen, winner at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Sim Racer's Edge last season. Bring home a nice 5th place points finish. 112 points off the lead, but with the seasons that Butch Davis and Chad Simpson both had in the championship last season, certainly a very, very respectable finish for him. Sim Racer's Edge, just saw it now. Sim Racer's Edge will be starting up this Thursday, so shed a tear while they're racing on Thursday and we're not there.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that all figured out with iRacing there and get back to broadcasting that league.
And to be fair to iRacing, it has been mostly Motorsport Games that has been the cause of the strife. As Motorsports Games promised IndyCar, I guess, an actual game. It would be their first since, I want to say, 2005 or 2006. Should be coming out. What the anticipation would be is next year, next summer, when the IndyCar game will be coming out.
As long as they have somebody to design it.
That's the big key, isn't it? When designing a game, you need a company that has enough money, that's not on the verge of going bankrupt every quarter, to actually develop the game.
Yeah, Ryan Steele now to the outside, getting into that top 5 after passing Butch Davis there.
Did you feel a little uncomfortable with me attacking EA Sports like that, or we?
No, that's pretty funny though.
I was going to say, you got off that topic rather quick as the caution comes out with 20 laps to go. Oh, it's Paul Crumry again.
I don't know. I think that's one of the biggest problems with games with motorsports games in general is we just haven't been treated to a company that's willing to put forth the effort to make a good game.
Short of these sims, and there's the contact. That's Javier Perez Torres. Got him loose and said, well, I'm already pushing you. May as well send you all the way around.
Yep, just got hooked in that left rear quarter.
And because of that, Paul Crumry will not be getting the free pass. And because the caution came out with Campbell behind Crumry, he will not be getting the free pass either. This caution is a huge beneficiary as well to Mike Fisher, who had fallen down to 10th. If that run had gone on much longer, he would have been coming into pit and would have gotten a lot worse a finish than what he's fixing to get now.
Looks like everybody's going to come down pit lane, so it will reset the whole field pretty much. The only question is who took tires last time versus who still has the set.
A lot of drivers, all of the drivers in the top 10 except for Mike Fisher have come in twice. So this will be the 3rd pit stop for these guys. Mike Fisher's only come in once. So these guys will still have a set of tires on the wall, even with this pit stop. As Ross Rawlings is rolling, Bentley Glazer will beat Rawlings out. Schmeier. Then don't ask me who won that little gaggle between Butch Davis, Wayne Hutchinson, and Jeff Hollingsworth. Appears as though iRacing is saying Hollingsworth won it.
That is what it looks like.
Two cars not pitting. Darrell Scott in the 23 and Wayne Fleet in the 6. Those two guys deciding not to come down pit road. Barry Phil was hoping to get a wave around that he will not get. Same thing with Paul Crumry. And because of that, Barry Phil will take his exit stage left onto pit road. And I guess they did, as a matter of fact, I guess they did give James Campbell the free pass. So Campbell back on the lead lap in the number 13. Make 24 cars on the lead lap of the 29 that started this race. 2 retirees, 3 did not start.
Yeah, looks like we have. Looks like we had another one there. Stephen Banting, retired. Chris Walker and Eric Woods. So
make it 3 and 3 then.
Yeah.
Not too shabby for an Xfinity race at Texas.
No, Barry Phil is getting his vehicle fixed back out on track. Crumry was up here mixed in with this lead group, but has to fade to the back, it looks like.
Good news for Crumry is that unless he is the cause of the caution again, he will definitely be getting the free pass as he's the only car 1 lap down. Barry Phil is the only other car that is not on the lead lap here tonight. He is 5 down. So for the first time tonight, it will be Darrell Scott leading the way. Now, Scott is not at a horrendous disadvantage. He came into pit on lap 71. Wayne Fleet, on the other hand, came into pit back on lap 60. So he will be at a horrendous disadvantage when we go green here with 15 laps to go. What a night it has been from the Texas Motor Speedway. And again, next week, still in the Xfinity cars, round number 8 of the season will be at Iowa. Before we go back to the trucks to round out the first half of the season at Hickory Motor Speedway and then Daytona. This schedule is not getting any easier.
No, it's not. It's like somebody just randomly drew out tracks and said, here we go. But it has been entertaining. We've had lots of different types of finishes, and we'll see where the rest of the season takes us as the pace car dives in. Darrell Scott will have control of the start here. And it looks like they are just really slow to get away.
Oh. That inside line, Darrell Scott did not go on the restart. Wayne Fleet ends up with the lead going into turn 1. It's not going to last too long as Ross Rawlings now out in front. Wayne Hutchinson second, Bentley Glazer third as that inside line really got held up.
Yeah, that inside line just checked up way too fast. And it looked like Ross Rawlings knew it was going to happen, went clear up to the wall, and was able to get the lead now. Bentley Glazer is going to be trying desperately here to get around Wayne Hutchinson, as Rawlings is already out to about a half-second lead over Hutchinson.
It's almost as if Darrell Scott restarted in 4th gear. He just didn't go at all. As Jeff Schmeier looks to the inside of Jeff Hollingsworth. Ooh, contact in the back, Mike Fisher. Sideways made contact with the 40 of Charles Woods. Around they go, and ooh, another car upside down. That's the 26 of Christian Bishop. Ooh, Keith Kellman.
Christian Bishop looks like maybe Dennis Fuson. Looks like he kind of went through and got out of the way.
Steve Kelman caught a big piece of that as well. And that started with contact between Charles Woods and Christian Bishop, and Mike Fisher, pardon me. Here it is. We'll go all the way back. It's going into turn 3. There's contact. That's the second bit of contact there. And the 40 of Woods just had nowhere to go. Right up into that outside wall. And then watch out. There's a wild ride for Christian Bishop is coming. Here it is again. There's Bishop on the inside. Boy, and he just trying his best to stay clear, and wreck found him.
Yeah, definitely did. Side racing, trying to move towards the front, and just what happens here.
And with that overhead view, you get to see a little bit more of what the more than what the driver can see, and there was nothing that Christian Bishop can do on that one. So on board with Brian Barnes, just getting through, catching Javier Perez Torres in the aftermath. So, we get to do it again.
Yep. This time we don't have the cars that didn't take tires in the way there.
Spoken like a true racer there.
I don't know what was going on, because that was the weirdest restart I've ever seen. Looked like Darrell Scott and Wayne Fleet both just decided they weren't gonna go to. Well, Darrell Scott doesn't sound like he was gonna go anywhere, and then Wayne Fleet jumped down in front of him and then went to the pits.
See if we can go on board here on this restart with Darrell Scott in the 23. See if we could suss out why that restart was the way it was for him. Because he's down. Green flag now. He just... I think Wayne Fleet might have gone before he did. He was in the right gear. It was just a slow restart.
Yeah, it stacked up that whole inside line and basically reset the whole field.
I'd like to remind you, we mentioned at the top of the show, we have had 6 different races and 6 different winners this season. Jeff Hollingsworth, winner at Dover. Chad Stearns, the winner at Kansas. Current race leader Ross Rawlings, winner at Talladega. Mid-Ohio went to Christian Bishop. Mike Fisher at Bristol. Ryan Steele at Darlington. Nowhere on there does that say Bentley Glazer, Wayne Hutchinson, Jeff Schmeier, Butch Davis. All the guys that are running in the top 5 right now.
Yep, 2 of the top 6. That is it.
Kyle McCartney running in the top 10. He doesn't have a race win yet this season. lot of guys hungry to make it 7-7. As we will go back to green flag racing with 8 laps to go here at Texas.
Yeah, we'll see how fast Bentley Glazer stays on that back bumper of Ross Rollins. Then tries to get that nose under, and they come through 3 and 4.
Ross Rawlings, Wayne Hutchinson, row number 1. The 2 best cars tonight, Bentley Glazer and Jeff Schmeier in row number 2. Pace car is off. 8 laps to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway. About to go green. There we go. Ross Rawlings off and away.
Kyle McCartney looks like he was trying to slide down in front. Square engine back there, but Glazer's trying to close in on Ross Rollins up here up front.
Schmeier getting around Wayne Hutchinson is Jeff Schmeier in that number 30. Not a lot of sense in saving the tires now.
Not at all. As these top 3 are basically throwing down the gauntlet.
Bentley Glazer fastest of all through the second half of the lap. Wayne Hutchinson fastest of all through the first half of the lap. This most recent time through. Ross Rawlings holding off Bentley Glazer, at least for the moment. 6 to go.
You can see the flames coming out of those cars as soon as they let off that gas. Roll through those corners. Glazer down to the inside, going to try and make that pass when they come here through 3 and 4.
Very good run coming off of turn 2. Did Bentley Glazer. He will make the pass on Ross Rawlings. A big wiggle from Rawlings, and Schmeier will find his way through as well. Schmeier set the fastest lap of the race that last time by at a 30:29. Both drivers a little bit slower this time.
Yeah, those top 3 starting to pull a little bit away from the next group, but we got Wayne Hutchinson, Hollingsworth, Davis, and Steele in that group trying to close in here.
It's like a 3-horse race right now, and Jeff Schmeier led the first 35 laps of this race as Jeff Hollingsworth going through the grass. Hollingsworth backwards on the front straightaway, gets hit hard a couple of times there by Fuson and Charles Woods. Caution comes out. It'll be a green-white checkered finish, and then there's Barry Phil coming in. Boy, oh boy.
Looks like Wayne Fleet didn't.
Oh, that was Wayne Fleet. You're right.
Didn't hit those brakes at all and went right into that door.
You're right. Not Barry Phil. Wayne Fleet. I apologize. See, this is what happened. Earl Weaver had gone off earlier in the lap. There's Earl Weaver and Javier Torres. Julian Ricci there as well. Then the next lap, Ryan Steele has the problem. Oh, a big wiggle there from Hollingsworth. And that's what sends those 2 spinning. Hollingsworth gets hit right here by Woods. There by Weaver, there by Fuson.
And here it comes.
Yeah, and then just wait for it, because there's one more coming.
It's almost like he was a target there, and everybody just couldn't turn to avoid him.
It's very... Charles Woods, we just saw the onboard there with Woods, and he just had nowhere to go. He was committed to going down, and unfortunately, he'll get another hit as well for his trouble. Right on board with Wayne Fleet. So off the gas. he wasn't on the gas. Once again, it was a case, same case as earlier on. He wasn't on the gas, but he also wasn't necessarily on the brake either. As we'll see now, we'll take Jeff Hollingsworth's ride. Gets loose there. Gets hit by Steele. Into the outside wall. Hit number 1. You're going to see it right there. 2, 3. And then, okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. No, we're not.
Well, Frank, while we were sitting there going through that replay, something up front has changed.
Jeff Schmeier coming down pit road. Comes down pit road and out in 14th.
And he was only in his pit stall for 4 seconds.
So that means he underfueled the car for a green-white checker.
We do have 3 options, three chances at this thing. So,
Mind reader. That was the question I was going to ask you next. So you have so many leagues that have 1, some have 3. It's hard to keep track of it sometimes.
And if you were Kyle Busch, you wish they had none.
If I were Bentley Glazer right now, I wish they had none at the moment. Is this night of racing here not quite over? Thank you all for watching all of our broadcasts here tonight, whether it be the All-American Racing League, Truckers Feed America Cup Series, the SCL Weekly Racing Series from Charlotte, or the debut of the Sunday Night NASCAR's Truck Series here on Sim Racing Media. Not a new series for the league, new series for us broadcasting it. And then as it's been for the last 3.5, almost 4 years now, Western States Racing League ending your night on Tuesday night here on SRM. So it'll be Bentley Glazer and Ross Rawlings on the front row.
Well, Bentley Glazer has got to be liking the fact that Jeff Schmeier went down pit lane, as he's already been able to pull away from Ross Rawlings a couple times here. We'll see if that remains true on this last, hopefully the last restart here.
And again, certainly not going to be saving tires here. Just a green-white checker to go. We just completed lap 107 that last time around. So it'll take 110 laps to get around here tonight to take home the win. Bentley Glazer looking for his first. Wayne Hutchinson looking for his first. Butch Davis, Kyle McCartney in the same boat. Ross Rawlings looking for his second on the season. Coming through 3 and 4. Mike, hopefully for the final time, take us away.
He's going down the inside. Glazer will have control of the start. He goes.
Goes
He
immediately.
almost. Yeah, he almost too soon there. About 2.5 seconds over Ross Rawlings.
Really bad on the mic there, but as Bentley Glazer out to a half a second lead over Ross Rawlings. Wayne Hutchinson about to get passed by Butch Davis going into turn 3. Kyle McCartney trying to follow through. But right now it is looking like it is all Bentley Glazer coming down the tri-oval one final time. half a second clear of Ross Rawlings. Butch Davis running in third. Lyle Swearingen trying to make the charge as well. Wayne Hutchinson looking to the inside of the 68 of Swearingen, but right now that is all for naught. As coming out of turn number 4 for the final time tonight, Bentley Glazer will take his first win of the season. Round number 7 of the year, 7 winners, 7 races.
Ross Rollins was able to bring home P2 and Butch Davis P3.
Ross Rawlings coming away with that second place finish, a very good run for him. Butch Davis in his return to the Tuesday night side. Third place finish, just barely beating out Kyle McCartney. What a race here tonight at Texas, and Bentley Glazer taking the win after an unfortunate fuel strategy decision from Jeff Schmeier forced him to come down pit road before that last caution.
Yeah, it's up the ramp there.
Let's see if we can get these guys in here in just a moment, as we'll be waiting on Bentley, Ross, and Butch. And right now, we have our third place finisher ready, Mike. So we will bring it. We will send it to you with Butch Davis. Mike, are you there? All right, Mike might be having microphone issues here. We just heard it there. So, Butch, first of all, nice to see you. It was a very pleasant surprise to see you in here tonight. It looked like a pretty tough race for you overall tonight, though.
Yeah, I don't really drive the Xfinity cars a whole lot. Obviously with what we got going on over at SRE. We're focused on the IndyCar. Ran WSRL a few seasons back. Had a lot of fun doing it. Just had to take a little break. But I think some of us guys are going to start running this again. Definitely Tuesday nights. We're going to see about maybe running Friday nights as well. But it was nice to get out there and mix it up. My teammate Lyle Swearingen, we both struggled with tire wear. Bentley and Ross, kudos to those guys, and Hollingsworth and several others. They're just able to manage the tire wear so much better than Lyle and I could, and we started falling back later in the runs, and then just kind of got lucky with where the yellows fell, and we're able to kind of position ourselves to come out, both of us getting a top 5, we'll take it.
So it's sounding like you will be here next week when we head to Iowa. What are your thoughts going into the shorter track here in these Xfinity cars?
I honestly have zero expectations other than having fun. Again, I'm a NASCAR guy at heart, but I just haven't driven these things enough. I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball. Same with Lyle. So we've got a lot of catching up to do. Already into the 7th race of this season. This is our first one. So it'll take a little while for us to get acclimated. I don't see Iowa being a breakout race for us.
Well, good news is you'll be going back to the truck after Iowa. Unfortunately, it'll be at Hickory. So there's that little twist.
I'm okay with the truck, though.
At Hickory?
I like the truck. Yeah, I'll drive that truck anywhere.
All right. Anyone do you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely want to thank you guys up in the booth. Thank Bob Beltrami at WSRL for putting on the league. Just thanks to all my teammates at FBR Motorsports. Larry, Neil, Lyle, Mikey, Chris, Dan, Justin, the whole chat, the whole bunch of them. Great group of guys, and I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for them. So thanks to all those guys too.
All right, Butch, welcome back in. Congratulations on a third-place finish, and good luck on Thursday night.
Thank you, sir. Congrats to Bentley and Ross on their podiums as well.
Well, there you go. There's our third-place finisher, Butch Davis, and I think Mike has he has either called it an evening or he has is trying to fix his internet issues that's causing the mic to do what it's doing. Ross Rawlings, now our second place finisher here tonight, and Ross, a solid finish for how that race turned out.
Yeah, I hate it for Jeff. Jeff had that in the bag, I think, and got taken out by a lap car there, so that was rough. But this is one of my worst tracks. I really don't like Texas, so coming out here with second, I'll take that all day.
The closest one to being a duplicate winner that we've had so far this season. What was it like, and how difficult was it trying to save the tires? We heard from Butch Davis saying it was really, really difficult, especially going down into turns 1 and 2. How difficult was it to keep those tires under you for the long haul?
Yeah, it's you just have to have a lot of patience getting back in the gas because the corner's so wide. You think you can get back in it real early, and you can early in the run and swing out to the wall like that, but you just kind of have to wait on the car to get pointed on its own before you get back in it, and that goes a long way to saving the right front. So I'm usually pretty terrible at that, and was decent at it tonight. So.
All right, we stay in the Xfinity car next week when we head to Iowa. What are your thoughts going into that race?
I love Iowa. It's a fun track. You got 2, sometimes 3 grooves there. I really like this car compared to the truck. It's just got a lot more power and kind of just gives you more freedom in how you can drive it. So really looking forward to it. Think hopefully I should have a good run there.
All right, anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Just Bob for putting this league on. Hope he keeps healing up after his surgery he had, and then all my teammates at Bentley and Jeff and Fred and Charlie and Paul. I think that was everybody tonight.
All right, bud. Congratulations on a second place finish. Ross Rawlings, everyone.
Yep, y'all have a good night.
And Mike, we're going to try this. We're going to start this whole transfaction over. You're going to take over the race winner. That would be Bentley Glazer.
Hey, Bentley, Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got it.
Hey, man, heck of a run there. Glad to see you back in the winner's circle. What's been going on?
Yeah, I've been running a different league this season, but planning on definitely coming back here. And we got done early, so I jumped in and did well. I hate it for Jeff Schmeier, man. He should have won this race for sure. And then last time I was in a chance to win the race, I wrecked him at Kansas on accident. I was trying to side draft, but I completely killed him. So I still feel bad about that, but man, he definitely should have won tonight. It's unfortunate.
Well, as we move from this race to Iowa in this Xfinity and then go to Hickory and Daytona in the trucks, you gonna plan on coming back and being able to run a couple of those races?
Definitely, if we get done in time, definitely for Iowa. Not sure about Hickory. I'm not a huge fan. That track makes me dizzy for some reason. It's really small.
Well, congrats again on your victory, and welcome back to the league here.
Thank you very much. Good hearing from you.
Yeah, anybody else you want to thank on that ride before we let you go?
All my teammates at OGR and Ross Rawlings, and shout out to Butch for having a great finish. I know he's a great IndyCar driver, and he's a great stock car driver. So hopefully to see him around more. And yeah, thank you guys. Thanks, Bob at Western States Racing League.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, Bentley.
Thank you very much.
Well, short and sweet and to the point, trying to make sure the mic lasts as long as it can. A solid night of racing, though, here at Texas, and I can't wait to see what these guys can do in this car around Iowa.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be another one of those tracks that we don't know exactly what to expect, especially from these guys and the cars. Of course, then after that, you go to Hickory and the trucks, which is always a wild card. So look forward to the next couple weeks here.
Absolutely. So we'll take a look now at the final results here. Bentley Glazer taking home his first win of the season again. 7 different races, 7 different winners. Ross Rawlings, Butch Davis, Kyle McCartney, Lyle Swearingen, your top 5. Wayne Hutchinson, Mike Fisher, Josh Weaver, Brian Barnes, and Javier Torres coming home in the top 10. Jeff Schmeier, again, after underfueling his car, restarting 14th on that green-white checkered, comes home, picks up 3 spots in 11th. Julian Ricci, Jeff Hollingsworth, Paul Crumride, Ryan Steele, your top 15. Dustin Burns, Earl Weaver, Darrell Scott, James Campbell, and David Weaver, your top 20. Keith Kelman, Barry Phil, Dennis Fuson, Charles Woods, and Wayne Fleet, your top 25. Christian Bishop, Stephen Banting, Chris Walker, Eric Woods, the final runner of the drivers that started the race here tonight. Bob Beltrami, William Fletcher, and Fred Williams not starting here in tonight's race. So for my broadcast partner, Mike DeMoney, my name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you all next Tuesday night in these Xfinity cars from Iowa Speedway. Good night, everybody.